designated as the floor leader. The session is suspended to give way to the proceedings of the Committee of the Whole.
The meeting of the Committee of the Whole is called to order.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we dispense with the calling of the roll of members.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The calling of the roll is hereby dispensed.
Mr. Chairman, I now move that we consider House Bill number 6732 and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the title of the House Bill number 6732.
House Bill 6732, an act granting the ABS-CBN Corporation a franchise to construct, install, operate, and maintain radio and television broadcasting stations in the Philippines and for other purposes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recognize the Speaker of the House, Alan Peter Compañero Cayetano, to sponsor House Bill number 6732. So move, Mr. Chairman.
The Honorable Speaker, Alan Peter Cayetano, is recognized to sponsor the measure. Please proceed.
Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 to 8. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal. I remember this is the favorite verse of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. And I know that our esteemed colleagues, all of us, whether opposition or administration, cannot imagine the burden on his shoulders during these very trying times. Magandang hapon po sa ating mga kababayan at sa ating pong mga kasama sa Kongreso. It is a time of great crisis, a time of enormous danger and challenges. But it is also a time of opportunity. If we can quickly adapt, innovate, and manage in the midst of the pandemic, so time really is of the essence in everything we do. We now find ourselves in a world with much uncertainty. And it is during these times that we have to hold on to God's promise that there is a proper time for everything. To hold on to God's promise that He is here and has plans to prosper us and not to harm us, plans to give us hope and a future. Today is the time to face and defeat the invisible and formidable opponent, the new coronavirus or COVID-19. Today is a time when bonds that hold us together as a society are tested. Again po, sinusubukan po tayo ng mga panahon na to. How far does our charity go to strangers? Today is the time for people to get the assistance they need. And on this note, let me remind everyone in this chamber who works so hard for the Bayanihan We Heal as One that we hold the executive to its commitment that all Filipino families who are in need will be benefited by the Bayanihan to Heal as One that we passed. This is also in line with the sentiment of the President and his order to the IATF. We have been discussing this with DSWD from the start. We have made many proposals. We've been trying to help them in the implementation, and we have been exercising our oversight functions on its implementation. But let us leave that matter for another time. Suffice for it that we emphasize that this is a present and dire need of our people. Today is the time for building a new and better tomorrow, as Congress realigns its priorities towards the passage of urgent legislation that would maximize emerging socio-economic opportunities for our people. including but not limited to services, health, education, agriculture, tourism, construction, manufacturing. The latter three, agriculture, tourism, and construction, are linked to jobs, jobs, and more jobs. Including the stimulus bill, the Balik Probinsya Bagong Pag-asa Initiative, Cures Act, and the New Normal in the Workplace Act, among others. Today is a time for unity, compassion, healing, and immense faith. Today is a time to bring out the best and not the worst of us. Today is the time for answers and solutions. But to find the correct answers and to find real solutions, we have to first ask right questions. Garbage in, garbage out. Mali po tanong natin, mali po ang magiging sagot. We can't just ask what tomorrow will be. We first have to ask what is important to us today. We can't just ask how will we get through this crisis without asking ourselves, how did we get into it? And we can't just ask how we can rebuild our lives. We have to ask, how can we build back better? Paano na ang mga manggagawang nag-iisip kung may trabaho pa silang babalikan? Paano po mga OFWs na may napundar na konting negosyo pero mukhang magsasara? Paano po mga OFWs na hindi siguradong makakabalik sa mga bansang pinagtatrabahuan nila? Paano po mga OFWs na kailangan ng umuwi at pinapauwi na sa bansang nag-host sa kanila pero hindi na sweldohan o halos walang naipon? Paano po ang ating mga estudyante? Hindi pa makakapag-aral? Paano ang social distancing? Kulang na nga ang classrooms. Meron pang shifting sa ibang mga eskwelahan. 40, 50, 60 ang laman ng isang classroom. May K-12 pa na nagdagdag 2 taon. Paano na po sila ngayon? Ano po ang remedyo? Ano po ang solusyon? Ano ang oportunidad? Ilan ang negosyong malulugi at magsasara? Paano po natin mabibigyan ng pagkakataon yung iba na magtayo ng negosyo o mabuhay yung kanilang negosyo o hindi masayang ang kanilang pinundar sa kanilang mga negosyo? Presyo ba ay tataas? Trabaho ba ay nandoon pa? Kita ba ay mawawala? Presyo, trabaho, kita ang nasa isipan ng ating mga kababayan. Ang mga probinsya at mga lungsod na turismo lang ang inaasahan o halos inaasahan sa kanilang kabuhayan at tourism-related industries. Paano po sila ngayon? Ni walang nagplaplano po na mag-travel o maging turista sa mga panahon na to. Ang mga padyak, tricycle at jeepney drivers na dati ng isang kahig, isang tuka. Pero ngayon po dahil sa social distancing, pihadong hihina ang kanilang kita. Ano ang mga oportunidad ang sisibol sa gitna ng trahedyang ito? At ano ang kailangan nating gawin para hindi tayo mapag-iwanan? Karamihan po sa naitanong ko po, yung pa lang po sa socio-economic, wala po dyan sa kalusugan. Maraming nag-aalala na pag tayo nag-open up, ilan ang magkakasakit? Paano kung nagkasakit? Mababayaran ba ito? Will there be enough doctors, nurses? Will there be enough health facilities? Are we ready for this? These are just a few of the serious and important questions that Congress had been grappling with even before the pandemic struck, and more so since. This is where I'd like to thank all of our colleagues led by the Majority Leader, Martin Romualdez. You did not take a vacation, hindi po kayo nagtago, inunan nyo po ang constituents nyo at tinuloy-tuloy nyo po ang trabaho during our break para po malabanan natin ang COVID-19. Sinuportahan nyo po ang administrasyon at bumunot kayo sa sarili nyong bulsa. Salamat po sa inyo. As God's creation, we have always pondered on the meaning of life. We have thought about the purpose of life. of our lives, of the lives of others. And now, policymakers and leaders in all sectors have to adapt, have to innovate, have to manage while pondering on new life. Ano ba ang magiging bagong buhay natin? On the new economy, ano magiging itsura ng ekonomiya natin pagkatapos nito? And of course, what is now being called the new normal. But important as these questions may be, we have no choice but to put them aside for the moment and deal with the franchise of ABS-CBN. And this is really where the leadership of Congress is coming from, together with the minority, the deputy minority leaders, the deputy majority leaders, the minority, deputy minority leaders, our deputy speakers led by Deputy Speaker Pulong Duterte. This is where we're coming from. We believe that these questions require our 100% attention. Yung bagong buhay, bagong ekonomiya, bagong normal, dapat po 101% pa ang ating attention dito. Not just by Congress, but by the entire nation. If there is one thing that people remember about what I say today, about the work of government during this time, it is this: nothing can be more important to our people than the government defeating COVID-19 at this point in time. Okay po? Alam ko po, mayroon tayong spirito, may katawan. Alam po natin, gusto natin ang habang buhay na everlasting life, no? Through our Lord and Savior, kung ano man paniniwala natin spiritual. Pero ngayon po, death and sickness is facing us in the eye. And they are looking to the IATF. They are looking to the President. They're looking to the Senate. And they are looking to their individual members of Congress sa distrito man o sa sector nila, sa party list system natin, to tell us, ngayon po ang pinaka-urgent, bumalik po tayo sa magandang part ng old normal, pero mag-create ng magandang part ng new normal by defeating the new coronavirus. You cannot hope to weigh the value of our immediate response to this pandemic as against the concerns of a private corporation, no matter how powerful or how important that corporation is. There is simply no comparison. Yet, this is exactly what the NTC has unnecessarily forced us to do by turning back on its commitment given under oath last March 10 that ABS-CBN will be allowed to continue to broadcast. Lilinawin ko po, March 10, malinaw sa atin, opinion ng DOJ na under equity at may sapat na basihan na mag-continue mag-broadcast ang ABS-CBN. Ang Senado po, during that time, nagpahayag din po, at ang NTC mismo nagsabi. At meron din pong legal precedents. Meron na pong nangyaring pinayagan. Sabi nila ngayon, never sila nag-issue ng provisional authority, but never din po sila nag-issue ng cease and desist habang pending pa. Ang punto po, nangako sila sa atin. And we can only act based on the facts given to us. Eh kung nandito po ang DOH at mangangako po sila na tapos na ang pandemic at binago natin ang regulasyon, hindi ba tama na sundin natin po yung scientific evidence? Kung mali, hindi ba dapat sabihan tayo kaagad? By the way, ang testimony namin mali. O nagbago. O may bagong ebidensya na nagpapakitang bago ito. We can agree to disagree on the merits of the legal opinions of the Department of Justice, the Senate, the House of Representatives on one side, and the Solicitor General on the other. But the fact is, if only the NTC had said to us from the outset that they could not give the network a provisional authority or that they would not allow ABS-CBN to broadcast after the expiration of their 25-year franchise, then we would have not relied on their word, and this piece of legislation that we are acting upon now may have been acted upon during that time. Ang Kongreso po, ang 18th Congress po ay solusyon na naghahanap ng problema. Hindi po tayo naghihintay na may problema, bibigyan natin ng solusyon. Hindi po. Wala pa ho yung problema, naghahanap na tayo ng solusyon. We are solutions looking for problems. That's why as early as February, we warned about COVID-19. And we asked the supporters of ABS-CBN na payagan nyo muna kaming maghanda. Nung Marso nun nyo lang nakita na tama kami. That is a fact, not an opinion. It is a fact that they gave their word under oath before the Congress of the Philippines. It is a fact that the NTC said they will give a provisional authority. Mag-away po tayo sa mga opinion. Dito lang po, wala pa hong 30 ang kongresista na physically present. But so far, ang gaganda ng attendance natin through Zoom, teleconferencing, mahigit 200, umabot ng 300. We can all have different opinions. But there cannot be more than one true fact for one specific item. Di ba? It's either true or false. And it is a fact that NTC made this statement under oath before the Congress of the Philippines. This distraction is the reason why we must not allow the betrayal of NTC and the unconstitutional meddling of the Solicitor General in this exclusive power of Congress to go unchallenged. Kung magsisinungaling lang sa atin ang mga ahensya at resource persons natin, paano tayo makakasiguro na tama ang ating mga actions? Kung yung pong may ibang opinion, magbibigay ng sikretong sulat sa mga nagtetestify sa atin at hindi ipapaalam sa atin, how can we come up with a national consensus? How can we inform our people so that they will be part of the decision? Their actions are not only an affront to this institution, it also delays the discussion and passage of crucial legislation that our people sorely need. Yes, there was some days that I did not speak about ABS-CBN. Why? Because we were talking about DSWD. We were talking about social amelioration. We were talking with the cabinet about the stimulus bill. We were talking about critical construction activities including medical centers. Ano? Tatalikuran ko lahat ng trabaho ko? Papatayan ko ng telepono o mag-exit ako sa Zoom para lang i-address lahat ng concerns tungkol sa ABS-CBN? Samantalang ang chairman naman natin ng franchise committee na si Congressman Alvarez ay napakagaling at sinasagot naman lahat ng issues. So frankly, today is really not the time for ABS-CBN. Ngunit dahil naalala ko yung laging sinasabi ng aking ama o ng tatay ko na si Rene Compañero Cayetano, he always reminded us that it is always the right time to do what is right. Then we will find the time today to do what is right. Because it was wrong for the government, without notice, without due process, to stop the broadcasting of ABS-CBN, especially during this pandemic. We live in extraordinary times, but it is made even more exceptional by the pandemic that has permanently marked all of those who lived through it. Advances in online technologies, even during the period of pre-COVID-19, were already growing by leaps and bounds, have made the free flow of information to happen at a dazzling pace. Old models of media, many of which we thought were permanent, are now being complemented, sometimes even discarded, in favor of new ideas, new ways of doing things, better, faster, more efficient, more democratic. Mass communication, which has for the most of history been a one-way medium, is seeing the dawn of a new age, where interactivity and interaction with the audience is no longer a novel gimmick. Dati po, kung may TV show, part po ng, hindi bang gimmick, pero part po ng attraction nung palabas na yon. Meron phone-in question. O kaya meron kang phone a friend. O kaya meron pwede mag-comment. Pero ngayon po, hindi na po ito isang gimmick. It is now a permanent part of our communication landscape. The fact that ABS-CBN is still able to broadcast its content even after its franchise had been preemptorily terminated shows that this issue is not, nor has it ever been, about silencing media, nor curtailing the freedom of the press. Just look at the social networking platforms and you will see that those freedoms are alive, well, and undeniably thriving in the Philippines. Wala po tayong binubusal-salan dito. We are simply following the law that every 25 years, you have to present before Congress your case of why we should give you another 25 years. And if some, many, or even one person complains, it is our duty to hear that complaint and then judge later on. In many ways, these changes reminded me of my dad, Senator Rene Compañero Cayetano, and the lessons he taught me in life. My dad was old-fashioned, very strict. He taught us that discipline and hard work are primary virtues. But at the same time, he also saw the value in using technology to reach the people. His pioneering show, Compañero y Compañera, first on DZMM, then later on ABS-CBN, provided a valuable public service to the Filipinos who may have otherwise not been able to see, let alone afford, a good lawyer. But in all this, one thing was higher above all. He always stood for what is right. Yun po ang spirit na nag-drive sa kanya, dun sa radyo, na ipaglaban ang batas, na yung tama ay tama at yung mali ay mali. Regardless of how hard the times were, he always pounded into us, just do what is right. Even in my younger days as a politician, when I would give him analysis about politics before making a stand, he would get angry at me and I would say, just tell me what to do. Ikaw naman tatay ko. Sasagutin niya ako, hindi. Elected ka. Hindi ka sa akin sasagot. Sasagot ka sa taong bayan. So sabi ko, ba't ka nagagalit? Sabi niya, nagagalit ako kasi hindi mo iniisip kung ano tama, yun ang gagawin mo eh. Iniisip mo kung ano popular eh. Iniisip mo kung ano yung politics. That's where, my mentality of politics, together with my Christian belief, changed my philosophy. And during those times when we would be too hard on us, he would be too hard on us, that is when my mother came in to comfort us and to encourage us. But every time, akala namin kinakampihan niya kami dahil sasabihin niya, ganyan talaga tatay mo, talagang sumisigaw yan, talagang madaling magalit. She would always come to his side by reinforcing the idea that tama is tama and mali is mali. I guess that's the teacher in my mom, to keep teaching her children and people who she proudly called her pupils to do what is right. This is the same spirit that drives me in my work today. Discipline, hard work, innovation, and doing what is right. It's not always easy. Sometimes we have to discern kung ano tama o mali. Sometimes there are two decisions na parehong tama. May mga iba that will argue there's such a thing as least among all evils. But personally, I always try to find what is right rather than the list of two evils. So what is right? Or at least how to determine what is right? Is it not right to hear all sides before we pass judgment? Is it right to ensure that our constitutional freedoms are not just protected, but they are also strengthened? Is it right to prioritize the welfare of many over the interest of the few? Is it right to stand by your principle despite the criticism? Is it right to listen to that still small, constant voice in your heart and mind telling you, eto tama, eto mali. Simply, is it right to do what is right? Before I continue to talk about what is right, what is the right thing to do about this issue, allow me first to address my comments to the following people or sectors. First, to the Solicitor General and the NTC. To be clear, we take no offense with your legal opinion. Pinapahalagaan namin ang opinion nyo, even if it is contrary to the DOJ and both houses of Congress and to legal precedents. What we do object to and take serious offense with is the furtive manner by which you deliberately and maliciously undermine the authority of Congress. March 10 nagsalita na mabibigyan ng provisional authority. It was only on April 30 na sumulat ang Solgen sa NTC. It was only May 3 that he made the threats to NTC public. And when the investigation takes place, we have evidence that there was collusions with some private individuals to stir up, the basis for all of this. But the point is, Mr. Speaker, we can only act based on the best information we have. And when you come to Congress, especially if you are part of the government, we expect you to tell us the truth. And if you make a mistake or change your mind, we expect you to tell us right away so that we can remedy the situation. The NTC gave its testimony and commitment on March 10. If you had any objections, Mr. Solicitor General, why did you not communicate with Congress? Why choose to remain silent for close to 2 months and on the eve of the opening of Congress, come out with your threats to the NTC? As a fellow lawyer and government worker, we should be working together and not trying to bring each other down. The media establishment, let me address this to you. Mga kapatid po natin sa media, I respect that you have a stand in calling for a hearing. Katulad po ng statement ng Senate media na mga kaibigan natin. I respect that you are calling us out for our failure to do this sooner. I even respect that some of you put the blame on me, on Alan Peter Cayetano personally. But when you blindly call for the approval of the franchise, without having heard all the sides of the story, then you show yourselves not as advocates of fair and balanced presentation of the facts, as is taught in all the schools that teach journalism, as journalists are sworn to. But you simply become plain and simple propagandists. Kung hiningi niyo po sa amin na mag-hearing at mag-action kaagad, nire-respeto namin yon. Pero hingin niyo sa amin, ipasa na lang namin, pikit mata. Kayo ba, papayag kayong may isulat kayo o may broadcast kayo na hindi kayo nagfa-fact check, kung ano na lang sabihin namin, yun na lang ilalabas nyo? Diba? Hindi journalism yan. So hindi po magiging tama ang desisyon ng Congress kung we will act speedily for the sake of acting speedily. And I cannot respect that. Do not weaponize this issue for your own personal agenda. This is a disservice to the very public in whose name you claim to stand for. Again po, hindi ko po sinasabing lahat, may iilan lang. There are bad apples everywhere. No? Wala naman pong isang barrel na 100% unless you pick the apples one by one. So whether you talk about politicians, whether you talk about members of the police, whether you talk about sa media, meron po talagang may personal agenda. Pero it's our lookout na huwag magpadala sa kanila. Kasi alam naman natin kung anong tama. Some may say that they are in the service of the Filipino people. Pero sa gitna ng sakuna, gusto nyo, kayo ang unahin namin kaso sa kababayan natin. Kayo nga isang dahilan kung bakit may mga issue ang network na ito Sa mata ng marami, klarong bias at pakikialam sa eleksyon na bawal sa atin batas ang ginawa ninyo at ginamit nyo yung network na ito. 2004, 2010, 2016, 2019. Tapos tatakpan nyo yan by saying it is against press freedom. Hindi po natin nilalahat ang mga journalist. Ngunit tulad din ng pagpapakita ninyo na ang lahat ng politiko ay korap, na lahat ng pulis ay abusado, damay-damay na ang buong institusyon sa maling gawain ng ito. So again, this may be a few bad eggs. But bakit po walang naging problema sa pagpasa ng franchise ng Channel 5? Bakit po walang naging problema sa pagpasa ng franchise ng Channel 7? Because wala pong tumayo at nagsabing nag-issues. If you take up, for example, Channel 7, DCBB, no? Now and then, si Igan, very popular broadcaster, criticizes me. But I have full respect for him. That's his opinion. But I never complained to management. Nung dumadaan yung franchise, I did not tell Channel 7 when I was in the Senate, boss, nakikialam kayo sa eleksyon. Why? It was simply his opinion as a journalist. And if it's correct, magbabago ako, and kung mali, di ba? Then I would tell him, I disagree with you. And he'd invite me again to his show. But that was not the case with ABS-CBN. And we deserve a hearing to be able to hear that. Yes, it might be unfair to Carlo Katikbak and Mark Lopez, the new management, because this happened during another era, no? But they're asking for a extension. They want a new franchise that will let them continue their media empire. Thus, accountability. Kung may negosyo po ako, pero yung negosyo ko po na yun may ginawang mali, binili na po ni Rani Abu ang negosyo na yon. Pag hinabol po ng BIR, hindi lang ako ang hahabulin, siya din. Siya na may-ari nung ano na yun nung negosyo na yon. So it might be unfair kung tinago ko sa iyo yon, Honorable Deputy Speaker Abu. But you still have to face the consequences. So if the government is removing your license, you have to answer, no? And we have to see what are the reforms that you will put in place. Now, if the network is confident that mali, these are false accusations, misunderstandings, these are rumblings by many of our kababayans, then let the people judge habang naghihiring po tayo. To the celebrities of ABS-CBN, yes, marami kayong fans dito sa Congress. But please be reminded that loyalty to the company that has given you a good life is important. But you cannot cry injustice and blame public servants when you lose your paycheck or your show, yet not take notice of the fact, yes, the fact, that there are grave issues against your network. These include alleged violations of labor laws, tax laws, and even constitutional law, even election laws. By all means, let your voices of support for your network be heard. By all means, sabihin natin sa kababayan ang mga magandang nagawa ng network. But if you really want to join the public debate, find it in your heart, find it in your indignation to also support due process and fact-finding as the issue is imbued with public interest, not just your interest. I understand it's hard for any employee to speak against the company that it serves. But there are employees who are speaking out against ABS. And this is their only time that they will be listened to. Every time na may 25-year franchise renewal, doon lang pinapakinggan . Yes, you have the courts, you have the labor arbiters, but how long does that take? And if it shows a pattern, hindi naman magde-decide ang labor arbiter about that di ba? Yung social justice po, kasama po yan sa franchise. Kasi public utilities po ito. Some of my colleagues, some lang po to. Yes, this bill is important, no question about that. But is it so important that you would lose all sense of objectivity and propriety? Again, is it so important that you will lose all sense of objectivity and propriety? How dare you belittle the tremendous work this Congress has done in the past 10 months? Shame on you for insulting your own House and colleagues and calling your colleagues inutil and tamad. Despite having passed the 2020 General Appropriations Act, the Bayanihan to Heal Us Act, as one act, postponing the 2020 Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections, which turned out to be the right thing to do. Imagine kung mag-election tayo during these times. The law for establishment of Malasakit Center, increasing and restructuring excise tax rates on alcohol, heated tobacco, and vapor products that are now helping our government coffers and helping the health sector. Corporate Income Tax and Incentive Rationalization Act, CITIRA, the Passive Income and Financial Intermediary Taxation Act, PIFITA, the creation of the Department of Filipino Overseas and Foreign Employment, the Real Property Valuation and Assessment Act, the creation of the National Academy for Sports, the Salary Standardization of 2019, extending the 2019 budget to include the teachers and nurses and other things, which, by way, 8 of these 10 that I have mentioned are part of the legislative priorities announced by the President noong 2019 SONA. And kung sino pa itong isa, dalawa o tatlo na tinawag tayong tamad at inutil, hindi ba kayo naman ang nagsasabing bukas na lang yan? Hindi ko pa nabasa yung bill na yan, I need a day more. Wag muna yung Malasakit Center, next week na yan. Wag muna yung Department of Overseas, next week na yan. Ngayon na kami nagsasabi na mas importante ang COVID-19 at paano natin i-defeat. Now na we're saying that feeding the people is more important, sasabihin nyo sa amin, forget everything, forget due process, and in one instance, ipasa na lang yung 25-year franchise? Let the people judge sino sa atin ang nagsasabi ng totoo at sino ang tama. To the senators, allow us to do our jobs. Remember, it is always easier to get 24 people to agree than for 300. Remember, we represent specific constituencies and sectors, and that is why the Constitution provides that franchise bills, like appropriations bills, will emanate from the House. But franchise bills enjoy the constitutional prerogative of exclusively emanating from the House. So we respect your work. But iba pananaw natin eh. National yung sa inyo, sa amin may national, pero nasa grassroots kami. Tinetext kami, pinupuntahan kami sa bahay, sa district office ng mga constituents namin. We want to work with you. We have to work with you. We've done great things together with you, our dear senators. We have to build our nation, but respect our timing and the manner of us holding our hearings. In other words, let's all play nice. Let's not just pretend to be nice to each other. Sa mga dilawan, nothing I say will make you agree with me. You don't even agree on the facts, simply because you think your opinions are law and are always correct. Former Senator Trillanes and you deserve each other. Kayo na lang mag-usap. Pero konting advice, and take it from me, don't disagree with him, papatayan kayo ng mic. Sa mga DDS o diehard Duterte supporters, I know you want to shut down ABS-CBN. Believe me when I say I hear you. Many in this August hall hear you. Congress hears you. As a friend and political ally of the President, part of the purpose of having this hearing is to make sure that history will judge our actions as just, na may hustisya po. And that the world will not blame the Duterte administration in case the franchise application is denied. So it's only by having these hearings where we will be able to justify to our people now, and where history can look back and say, tama pala na binigay nyo yung franchise ng 25 years. Or mali pala, dapat pala hindi nyo binigyan. O tama pala na hindi nyo binigyan. Or maybe some amendments to it, depending on what we find out during the hearings. I was the one who filed the application for a temporary restraining order and spoke against ABS-CBN during those crucial moments before the 2016 elections. I have not wavered that the network has to be held accountable. But true accountability can only flow from fair and thorough hearings. Di po tayo pwede mag-road rage dito. Kahit mali po yung kotse na nag-cut sa'yo, pag hinabol mo, kinat mo rin, nilabasan mo ng barel, ginulpi mo, mali ka pa rin. Di ba? May traffic enforcer at meron pong paraan ang traffic enforcer na interviewin to get due process from all of them. So allow our majority leader, allow the House leadership na mag-traffic kung anong mas mahalaga sa panahon na ito. But again, without any injustice to anyone. Lastly, to the management and employees of ABS-CBN, alam po namin na sa panahon ng COVID, marami po ang umaasa sa balita ng ABS-CBN. At kahit naman may iba pang stasyon, may mga bahagi pa rin ng Pilipinas na inaabot lang ng isang network ng ABS-CBN. Wala naman siguradong makakatanggi na tumutulong ang ABS-CBN sa efforts ng local at national government. Kabilang sa DOH, IATF, DILG at iba pang ahensya ng gobyerno at local government units, tumutulong ang ABS-CBN upang maibsan ang epekto ng COVID-19. That goes the same with the other calamities. Nandito po si Majority Leader Martin Romualdez. Ted Filon is in the building. ABS-CBN was there during Yolanda and helped rebuild. We also know that ABS-CBN was there when yung lugar po ni DS Rani Abu, ang lugar po ng ating mga kababayang Batanggenyo, was ravaged by the explosion of Taal. So, hindi po namin tinatanggal yan sa network nyo. Hindi lang sa panahon ito, kung hindi sa iba pang mga sakuna at trahedya ng mga nagdaan taon. Nandun po kayo. Ngunit sa kabila ng lahat ng ito, kailangan pa ding sagutin ang mga katanungan ng mga tao. Ang konstitusyon sinasabi na kailangan ng renewal ng franchise. And this is the time to ask the questions. There is no question that you have been part of nation building, part of the Philippine history, part of who we are today. But as you yourself have said through your officers, you are not perfect. You are not a perfect network. And I agree. Why do I agree? Wala naman pong perfecto talaga, Diyos lang. No one is perfect. And that is why we need these hearings. If it is done properly, we will emerge stronger and unified, having laid to rest one of the most politically charged issues of our time. But to do this, we need everyone's cooperation, understanding, and open-mindedness. You know, the most politically charged issue during the time of creation and paradise was Adam and Eve partaking of the forbidden fruit. Di po ba? Kung meron media po noon, yun po ang headline. Eva, kinaan yung mansanas, binigay kay Adan. Di ba? Hindi ko alam paano i-feature yung ahas doon. But what did the Lord do, who is all-knowing? Sinabi ba niya, I condemn you? Sinabi ba sa inyo, mali, etc.? Hindi ba nagtanong muna siya, Adam and Eve, what did you do? Why are you hiding? Why are you ashamed? So is it too much to ask that you give Congress the opportunity to do the same? To ask all sides. Ano ba ang tamang ginawa ng ABS? Why should we give them another 25 years? Ano naman ang mali nila na dapat tanggalin natin sa kanila? Paano naman empleyado nila? Paano ang investments nila over the last 25 years? Totoo bang nakialam sa eleksyon o hindi? Importante ang freedom of press. Pero hindi ba importante din na ang eleksyon natin is free and fair? Na kahit sinong Pilipino, may pera man o wala, may equal chance. Pero if you only have two giant networks in our country, and 95% of our people watch your news, and you can sway who you want them to vote for by just using one network, isn't that as much a threat to democracy as damaging the freedom of the press or freedom of speech? I echo the words of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte when he tells you, ABS-CBN, and also all the members of media, simply do your job. Do not fear, do your job. Call out injustice and corruption whenever you see it. Protect the weak from the powerful, and give voice to the voiceless. This is your mandate. Kahit dito sa Kongreso, kung anong mali ang gagawin dito, i-report nyo. To speak truth freely and fearlessly to power. But beware, yes, beware, that you do not become the power that you hope to check. Huwag nyo rin po i-underestimate ang power ninyo. Because kapag ka ginamit nyo yung network para sa injustice, multiplied to 1,000,000 times over. Walang laban din po ang biktima ng injustice sa inyo. Magkamali lang kayo sa news sa pangalan o yung bahay. Sira na reputasyon ng isang tao. Hindi na madaling ibalik yun. Some of your reporters, and let me emphasize again, some reporters or in the newsroom of ABS-CBN repeatedly say, di ba sabi mo, ikaw mismo ang mag-on ng transmitter kung sa pilitan isasara ang istasyon. Yes po, I said that right outside this hall. I said it based, of course, on the premise and on the promise of NTC and on my consultations na hindi isasara. But I did say it, na pagka pinatay, ako mismo mag-on. Pero ang sagot ko sa hamon nyo, hindi ba voluntarily pinatay nyo yung transmitter nyo? Wala pa naman nag-enforce dun Pwede naman kayo pumunta sa korte. Pwede kayong humingi ng temporary restraining order habang nagro-broadcast pa kayo. Notice pa lang na sa inyo, order. If the order is illegal, padalan mo ako order sa bahay na lumayas ako sa bahay ko. Alam kong bahay ko yon. Pupunta ako sa korte, hindi ako voluntarily alis sa bahay. But I respect yung diskarte nyo. Yan ang naging strategy, yan ang decision nyo. Maybe you wanted to humble yourself before the law. Maybe gusto nyo magpaawa. Hindi ko alam. But I respect your decision. But kayo sa ilan lang naman, na paulit-ulit play, sinasabi, sabi mo, i-on mo Paano ko i-on kayo nagpatay? Pero ngayon, sa araw na to, para wala na tayong pagtalunan, para matapos na yung usapan, we will begin the process of turning on your transmitter by giving you a franchise until October 31, 2020. And we will not pass the buck. We will have the hearing, tatapusin namin to, at tao ang magja-judge kung dapat kayo bigyan o hindi ng prangkisa. Through this measure that we have filed today, I am now sponsoring, we will provide ABS with a provisional franchise or with a franchise, a full-blooded franchise with limited period until October 31, 2020, within which both the House of Representatives and the Senate will hear the issues being raised for and against the renewal and assess with complete impartiality and fairness whether or not the network shall be granted a franchise for another 25 years. We cannot, in good conscience, sweep the accusation under the rug and proceed as if nothing happened. As we have always promised, these hearings will be fair, impartial, and above all, thorough. Again, mga kababayan, ang issue po ng Kongreso, timing lang po at fairness. Timing po. I was not willing to sacrifice the budget, the relief sa Taal, the relief that was going on sa tinamaan po ng mga lindol sa Mindanao. I was not willing to sacrifice po yung much-needed taxes na it ends up we needed it much more than we thought before because of this COVID-19. No? So timing and also fairness. Di ba? Hindi naman pwede pong i-grant o wag i-grant nang hindi natin pinapakinggan lahat. Whatever the outcome of these hearings will be, there will be reforms. There must be not just a new, but a better normal. Not only for ABS-CBN, but for the entire media industry. And not only for the media, but for us public servants. Kahit po dito tayo sa Kongreso, there has to be reforms. Crisis brings out the best and worst in people. But as Filipinos, I ask each one of you, can't we talk about what we believe in without bringing others down? Kailangan ba natin mag-insultuhan? Kailangan ba natin mag-alaskahan? Kailangan ba natin tawagin ang ibang tao na tanga o bobo? Can't we lift each other up with and in our debates? At this time of great peril, when the whole world is on the brink, it is really too much to ask that we hold off on the discussion of this issue and issues that are divisive, at least until we're able to take care of each other. So let me make it clear. Baka sabihin ng iba, pagkatapos mong sabihin XYZ about many people, sabihin mo, let's lift each other up. No, I recognize that every time we're put in a situation that very divisive ang ating issue, let's talk today about death penalty. Hindi tayo magiging divided. Let's talk today about divorce. Let's talk about abortion. Let's talk about constitutional change, federalism, which I very much believe in. Hindi ba magiging divisive? So ang sinasabi ko po, iwasan po natin ang pwedeng iwasan na divisive so we can take care of each other para hindi mapusok ang ating kalooban, para naman po, okay lang sana alaskahan Let's make each other laugh. Di ba? Pero yung mag-insultuhan po tayo, panoorin niyo po ang ibang bansa. US, Spain, Italy, China, sa nangyayari. Hindi ba bawat galaw nila, pati politika nila? Look at the US, for example, and this is my personal opinion. And I have great respect for the American system. But right before COVID, nag-impeachment sila. So imagine that time na imbis na nag-impeachment, nag-uusap sila. Republican at Democrats, Presidente at Congress, how to deal with COVID. They'd be in a much better place. So I don't want to look back in history and say, you know what? Dahil popular sa ganito, binigay na lang namin yung 25 years. Or I don't want to say, because sila naman talaga may kasalanan, wag na natin ibigay. And then we look back in history and say, this could have been the time that we got united. Because even EDSA 1, 2, even if you include EDSA 3, there was people power, but we were not united. It's more that there was a majority opinion over a minority opinion. Can we not now come up with a consensus? A consensus, so that we can move in leaps and bounds and take care of our people. Some say that politics is the art of getting and doing what is popular. Some say it is the science of avoiding what is difficult. The 18th Congress says to our people today that politics is the commitment to doing what is right. And definitely now more than ever, we have to do what is right for our people, for our nation. God bless Congress. God bless the Philippines. Salamat sa ating mga colleagues.
Mr. Floor Leader.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we recognize the gentleman from Laguna and Deputy Speaker, Dan S. Fernandez, to deliver a sponsorship speech.
Chair recognizes Deputy Speaker Congressman Dan Fernandez from Laguna to sponsor the said measure. Please proceed, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, thank you so much for that wonderful sponsorship and for giving the 18th Congress the opportunity to be a part of this bill, House Bill number 6732, granting the ABS-CBN a franchise to construct, install, operate, and maintain television and radio broadcasting stations in the Philippines. It is the right thing to do. We've been through a lot of trials indeed in the Philippines, absorbed a lot of problems, including the eruption of Taal, as what the Speaker have said a while ago, the different typhoons, the different calamities, and now the COVID-19 pandemic. ABS-CBN had been a part for millions of Filipinos, and not negating to the wish of the majority of our representatives during the committee hearing, with no less than the NTC Chairman Cordoba, who attended the said hearing, and telling us that a provisional franchise will be issued by them, and thereby continuing the airing of ABS-CBN while we in Congress are working to fight first the effect of this pandemic. But hold and behold, we were deceived. And a cease and desist order was issued, and ABS-CBN shut down its operations. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, this bill will somehow give the 18th Congress time to deliberate much extensively and comprehensively the issues about the ABS-CBN. This bill will give all sides to air their inputs and give chance for each and every one of us to decide the fate of the renewal of the ABS-CBN franchise. This representation joins the House of Representatives in this important move to grant ABS-CBN a provisional franchise that will be valid until October 31, 2020. Our people need and have the right to access to all possible reliable sources of information, particularly this time when we are battling this COVID-19 pandemic. ABS-CBN will continue such a source. We cannot afford to deny our people this source that is already familiar to them. This provisional franchise will give the time to this House to process ABS-CBN's application for its franchise renewal. We will hear all stakeholders on the issue so the House is properly guided in making its decision. This is the correct process that we have always followed and will continue to follow. But, Mr. Speaker, at the same time, I would like to take this opportunity to make the National Telecommunication Commission accountable for its action, which to this representation clearly constitutes contempt of this House. The NTC's issuance of cease and desist order against ABS-CBN, despite the agreement reached with the leadership of this House that it will issue a provisional authority to the network while the bill is being processed by Congress, betrays not only the interest of this House, but more importantly, the Filipino people's greater interest and well-being. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, let us move to also make NTC accountable for its action. The Filipino people deserve no less. Grant ABS-CBN a provisional franchise, but also make NTC accountable. Maraming salamat po. Aprobahan na po natin ang HB 6732, hindi bukas, hindi sa susunod na linggo, kundi ngayon, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat po.
Floor Leader.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve House Bill number 6732 in the Committee of the Whole. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
There's a motion to approve House Bill number 6732. As many in favor of the House Bill number 6732, please say aye.
Aye.
As many are against, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill number 6732 is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Secretariat be directed to prepare the report of the Committee of the Whole on House Bill number 6732, and thereafter distribute the copies of the said report to all the members, including those who are in the teleconference.
Is there any objection? The Chair hears none. The Secretariat is directed to prepare the report of the Committee of the Whole, and thereafter distribute copies of the said report to all members. Floor Leader.
Mr. Chairman, I move to suspend session to allow our Secretary to prepare for the report.
The
So
meeting
moved,
is
Mr. Chairman.
suspended.
Ay, kala ko mo. Ulit ka. Si El Rey. Yes, please. Okay. Please tell Franz also. Huh? All right, thank you. Franz will be in number 6, huh? Oh, no, 7 pala, sorry. After you. Job. Okay na?
Huwag na siguro. Putang ina, baka gawin ba natin yan? Is that how you do it?
Sessions resume. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we proceed with the additional reference of business and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title on measures on first reading as well as communications and resolutions. So
Any
moved, Mr.
objection?
Speaker.
The chair is none. The Secretary General is directed to read the additional reference of business.
Additional reference of business. Committee report. Report of the Committee of the Whole House, House Bill number 6732, entitled An Act Granting the ABS-CBN Corporation a Franchise to Construct, Install, Operate, and Maintain Radio and Television Broadcasting Stations in the Philippines and for other purposes.
To the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, under the calendar of business, I move that we consider House Bill number 6732 as reported out by the Committee of the Whole, and direct the Secretary General be directed to read the title of House Bill number 6732. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The chair is none. The Secretary General is hereby directed to read the title of House Bill 6732 for consideration on second reading.
House Bill number 6732, an act granting the ABS-CBN Corporation a franchise to construct, install, operate, and maintain radio and television broadcasting stations in the Philippines and for other purposes.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, as chairperson of the Committee of the Whole, I shall deliver, the Deputy Speaker, I shall authorize the Deputy Speaker, Congressman El Rey Villafuerte from Kamsur, to deliver the sponsorship speech of the measure.
As authorized by the chairperson of the committee as a whole, Deputy Speaker El Rey Villafuerte is to sponsor the committee report of House Bill 6732. You may proceed, Deputy Speaker El Rey Villafuerte.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm here to sponsor House Bill number 6732. The main rationale of this bill is to enable Congress to have an impartial, comprehensive, and an extensive hearing. Because I believe, with my authors who filed this bill, that if we do not extensively hear the issues surrounding this franchise, we will be reneging on our constitutional duty and mandate to ensure due process that will enable us, members of Congress, to decide freely and objectively whether to approve or deny this franchise. So basically, we want to grant a temporary provisional franchise until October of this year because this is a contentious bill. There are so many pros, there are so many against. We have to hear all sides. We have to hear the issues on labor, tax, foreign ownership, for those who are against. In fact, one of our deputy speakers, Deputy Speaker for Political Affairs, Pulong Duterte, together with Appropriation Chairman Eric Yap and our Accounts Committee Chairman Bambol Tolentino, have filed a resolution to investigate all issues against this franchise. So definitely, Mr. Speaker, we have to hear all sides. We have to provide due process, both for pro and against. Importante po yan because this will enable our members to decide whether to approve and deny. And again, I would like to clarify that yung mga nagsasabi na dapat aprobahan na yan, kaya naman aprobahan niya ng isang araw, I think it's unfair because they have already prejudged the issue. Kailangan talaga isang malawakan pandinig, kaya po, ito po, tinutulak po natin itong bill na to. Marami rin nagsasabi, bakit tumagal? Ang tanong ko naman po sa ating mga kababayan, ano ba ang gusto nyong unahin ng Kongreso? Mabigyan ng trabaho ang ating mga kababayan ngayong panahon ng lockdown o COVID? Mapalakas po ang ating gobyerno para labanan ng COVID? Paano naman po yung mga stranded workers na nasa Maynila na gustong umuwi sa probinsya? Ano ba ang uunahin natin? Economic stimulus, balik probinsya, new normal, o ABS? So I think it's just fair na bigyan nating panahon ang ating mga kasama dito sa Kongreso na dingigin po ang lahat ng sektor, lahat ng mga kontra, lahat ng pabor. So yan lang po, Mr. Speaker. I would like to sponsor this House Bill number 6732. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the sponsorship speech of Speaker Alan Peter Compañero Cayetano, delivered earlier in the Committee of the Whole, be inserted as part of the record and be made part as the sponsorship speech of House Bill number 6732. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
The sponsorship speech of Speaker Alan Cayetano with respect to House Bill 6732 is hereby adopted as one of the sponsorship speech of committee report for House Bill number 6732. Majority Leader.
Likewise, Mr. Speaker, the speech of the Honorable Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez be also inserted as part of the record and speech, a sponsorship speech of House Bill number 6732. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Same as with the sponsorship speech of Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez in the committee as a whole is also adopted as sponsorship speech in this plenary for committee report of House Bill number 6732. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, first to interpellate our good sponsor, the Honorable El Rey Villaferte, is the Honorable Carlos Zarate of Bayan Muna. I move that he be recognized to interpellate our sponsor. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Representative of Bayan Muna Party List, Representative Carlos Sarate, is recognized if the sponsor is willing to be interpellated.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
You're recognized, Congressman Sarate. You may proceed.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker, ginawang sponsor. Pwede po bang maglinaw ng ilang mga katanungan sa ating kagalang-galang na sponsor?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, with honor po.
Salamat po, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor. So ang atin pong panukalang batas ngayon ay malinaw na ito ay parang pantawid lamang habang tatalakayin pa ng Committee on Legislative Franchise ang mga renewal bills, at least 12 renewal bills na pending ngayon sa Committee on Legislative Franchise. Tama po ba yun?
Yes, the objective of this bill, Mr. Speaker, is to enable Congress to fulfill its mandate, to have an extensive, impartial hearing. I think it's just fair for those who in favor and against to be heard. Napakaraming pong issues, napakaraming magsalita, even our congressmen. Just imagine po, just give them 10 minutes each. And if 100 congressmen would want to speak, that will take already a longer period. So, ang importante po is mabigyan lahat ng due process at madinig. That's why we're giving this temporary provisional franchise, Mr. Speaker. Thank you po.
At kung maipasa po ng kapulungan ito, itong temporary o provisional franchise na tinuran po ninyo, ito ay aakyat sa Senado at ipapasa rin ito ng Senado at bago umakyat sa palasyo sa Malacanang para po malagdaan ito at maging isang batas. Tama po ba ang prosesong yon, ginoong sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Tama po, pag na-approve po yan sa atin dito sa ating Kamara ay ipo-forward po yan sa Senado.
At pagdidebatehan nila at ipasa rin sa Senado. Tama po yun.
Pag napasa sa Senado po, based on the legislative processes po, it will be subject to the approval of our President, whether he approves or veto. He has the prerogative, Mr. Chair, Mr. Speaker.
So tama po yun. No? Lahat na ito ay aakyat pa rin sa Malacanang kung i-approve nga ito or i-veto ng Presidente. In the meantime, kahit po naipasa na ng kapulungan ito, ang panukalang batas na yan na magbibigay ng temporary franchise or provisional franchise sa ABS-CBN until October 31 this year, ay hindi pa rin wala tayong katiyakan, no, na at this point, no, habang nag-uusap po tayo na talagang babalik sa ere ang ABS-CBN. Tama po ba yung aking pagkakapalagay na gano'n, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, our objective really is to have an extensive impartial hearing and hopefully decide whether to reject or approve this on or before October 30. And of course, ito munang pag napasa po natin to, dadaan talaga yan sa Senado at it's really the prerogative of the President. And based on the press release statement of Harry Roque, as per my understanding, Mr. Speaker, is that the President, the executive branch, leaves it up to Congress to decide on what to do because based on the Constitution, on Article 7, Section 24, all private bills shall originate exclusively in the House of Representatives. So, knowing that, I think it's just our duty to act on this now and let the Senate and the President do their duty as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat po, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Tama po kayo, tayo nga ho ang merong primary jurisdiction, no, ayon sa ating saligang batas dahil ito nga isang pribadong panukalang batas or private bill, no. Tama din yung natura ninyo na kailangan aktuhan na ito ng ating kapulungan dahil sa totoo lang din naman po ang usaping ito ay nakabinbin sa atin, no, wala pa man itong pandemya ng COVID. Now, ang aking sunod po na katanungan, Ginoong Sponsor, bakit po hanggang October 31 ang ating binigay na panahon dito sa provisional franchise na ito at hindi Agosto or September o hanggang katapusan ng taon, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, thank you for, I would like to appreciate, I appreciate the questioning of our distinguished gentleman from Bayamuna. I think it's just the right time na by October, which is roughly over 5 months, yan po ay basado sa konsultasyon sa ating mga kasama sa leadership, kasama po ang majority leader, dahil hindi lang naman po ito ang tatalakayin natin from now until October. At siyempre, pag after the SONA po ay dadating rin po ang ating budget dyan. So I think this is based on estimates na by then we would be able to decide on or before that date. So, depende rin po yan sa gustong maraming magkokontra, ilang ba yan, yung iba po siguro i-invite natin for a hearing, yung iba we might have to just ask for their position papers. So, yung estimate niyan is based on consultation. I think it's a good timing na until October, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Salamat, Ginoong Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Tama po kayo dahil nung ginawa ho nating pagdinig noong March 10, no? Kung aking maalala, ang isang ating iniwan na kautusan doon sa mga gustong suportahan o kontra dito sa renewal ng franchise ng ABS-CBN ay meron silang 60 araw or 60 days to submit their position papers, no? For or against the renewal of the franchise of ABS-CBN. At ang 60 days na yan ay nag-lapse na. No? So I suppose yung mga position papers na yan ay nasa kamay na ng Committee on Legislative Franchise. At kaisa nyo rin po ang kinatawang ito doon sa pagbatikos, no? Sa naging proseso na nagkaroon ng cease and desist order na ipinataw ang National Telecommunications Commission sa halip na isang provisional authority gaya ng ipinangako sa atin dahil na rin sa ginawang pananakot ng Solicitor General's Office, no, na kung bibigyan ng NTC ng provisional authority ay sasampahan sila ng kaso. But be that as it may, no, talagang bola ngayon ay nasa ating kamay na, at bilang isa sa mga pangunahing sponsor ng renewal bills, no, siyempre gusto rin po nating kagyat, no, na mapag-usapan na rin ang bills na ito. Pero ako rin po ay naniniwala na dahil this renewal of the franchise of ABS-CBN is imbued with public interest, ay hindi ho tayo dapat maging bulag at bingi, no, sa mga issues na dapat kaharapin, na dapat pag-usapan bago marisolba o mag-grant ang renewal of franchise o kung anumang reformang gagawin sa prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. Kailangan pag-usapan natin ito despite the limitations that we have now, no, dahil nga dito sa nasa quarantine, nasa lockdown, at nasa paghaharap tayo ng laban sa pandemya ng COVID. No? Kailangang pag-usapan ito at iresolba. No? Kung hindi man natin i-renew ang franchise ng ABS-CBN, so be it. Pero hindi ito nirenew natin dahil ito ang kagustuhan ng Pangulo ng Pilipinas or dahil merong ibang mga negosyante na gustong kunin, no, or mapasa kanila ang frequency ng ABS-CBN. Ayaw rin po ng tinatawag ito na basta na lang po natin i-approve ito dahil ito ang kagustuhan ng mga may-ari ng ABS-CBN or ng mga artista ng ABS-CBN or dahil ayaw nating mawala sa ere ang probinsyano at mawala na rin si Cardo Dalisay. Hindi po dapat ganoon ang mangyari. Kailangan, tama po kayo na kailangan talagang masusing pag-usapan ito. Resolbahin natin ang isyong ito na kinokonsidera natin ang nakabubuti sa ating bayan at sa ating mga mamamayan. Dahil nung mawala po sa ere ang ABS-CBN, hindi na lang ito usapin ng ang nawala ay ang negosyo ng mga Lopezes. Ang nawala, ang naapektuhan ay ang 11,000 na mga empleyado at mga manggagawa ng ABS-CBN at mga dependents nila. Ang nawalan din po rito, kahit ano pa magsabihin natin, napakalaki ng naging papel ng ABS-CBN sa dissemination ng impormasyon, lalo na sa panahon ngayon na nilalabanan natin ang krisis na dala ng pandemya ng COVID. No? Kaya these are the considerations while we are also tackling, no? Pinaprioritize natin yung paano bang bumalik ang ating ekonomiya, paano ang kabuhayan ng ating mga kababayan ay matulungan natin sila. Kailangan din pong bigyan natin ng pansin at harapin ito. So yun lang po ang aking ilang mga paglilinaw ng mga katanungan at with the assurance of the sponsor and the leadership of the House na ang mga renewal bills, no, pending bills with the Legislative Franchise Committee ay uusad na rin, no, para finally matuldukan natin ang isyong ito at marisolba na ng kapulungan ito. Maraming salamat Ginoong Sponsor sa iyong panahon at sa pagbibigay ng linaw at sa ating kagalang-galang na speaker.
Maraming salamat po, kagalang-galang Carlos Salate. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Next to interpolate, Mr. Speaker, is the Honorable Arlene Brosas of Gabriela Party List. I move that she be recognized.
The representative from Gabriela Party List, Honorable Arlene Brosas, is recognized to interpolate the sponsor. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And maaari po bang magtanong ng ilang mga clarificatory questions sa ating sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Yes,
distinguished
Mr.
colleague?
Speaker, I agree, and it would be an honor to answer the questions of our distinguished gentlewoman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This representation welcomes this development on ABS-CBN franchise. Ano po? However, yung extension po na until October 30, sa tingin natin ay hindi sufficient. Ngayong walang kasiguraduhan kung hanggang kailan matatapos yung pandemya. Lalong kailangan na natin yung pinakamalawak na media o network sa bansa sa usapin ng paghahatid ng impormasyon. Kung nag-agree po kayo dito, bakit po hindi hanggang 2021 or hanggang pagkatapos pa ng October ay magbigay ng provisional franchise ng hanggang ganung panahon. Mr. Speaker, sponsor.
Mr. Speaker, napakaganda ng tanong niya. Bakit hindi 3 buwan? Bakit 6 na buwan? Bakit hindi 1 taon? Bakit hindi 2022 na? Alam niyo po, as what Speaker has said, let's just do what is right. People are saying, dingigin nyo na yan. So I think it's incumbent upon us, this lower house, this August chamber, to decide on or before October whether to approve or deny. Whether there's still COVID or not, and I'm sure that will be, by that time, wala pa naman vaccine, I think it's incumbent upon us to hear extensively, with impartiality, whether through Zoom, actual hearings, para ma-decide na natin once and for all, Mr. Speaker. That's the intention why we put October of this year.
Sponsor, nais kong itanong yung section 5 kung saan nakalagay ay right is reserved for the President at walang mention ng Congress. At ang nakalagay po dito yung may portion ng public peril, calamity, emergency, disturbance of peace and order to take over,
May technical
Mr. Speaker, I presume that we are having technical difficulties.
yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, due to technical difficulties, may I instead proceed with a different interpolator? And maybe
You may proceed.
we will reconsider the interpolation of the Honorable Arlene Brosas after in a while.
Who's the next interpolator?
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Mike Defensor of the Party List Anak Kalusugan to make his interpellation. So move, Mr. Speaker.
The representative from Party List Anak Kalusugan of Batangas Province is recognized, Honorable Mike Defensor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The most honored Batangueño of this August chamber. Mr. Speaker, if the honorable sponsor be amenable to some interpellation.
Mr. Speaker, with pleasure, and it would be an honor.
Mr. Speaker, mga basic lang po yung aking katanungan dito po sa batas na inihain ng ating tagapamahala, Speaker Alan Cayetano, and of course, the sponsor of the bill, the Honorable El Rey Villafuerte. Alam niyo po, Mr. Speaker, yung ABS-CBN franchise ay nag-expire na. So, ang ibig pong sabihin, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito ay isang application. Ang tanong ko, Mr. Speaker, basic lang. Nag-apply po ba ang ABS-CBN ng panibagong franchise?
Mr. Speaker, as far as I know, there were around 14 bills filed to renew the franchise.
So, yes, Mr. Speaker. So, dito po sa particular na bill natin, 6732. Ito po ba'y pumayag ang ABS-CBN o gusto po nila pumapayag sila na bigyan sila ng panahon, sumagot sa komite para sagutin yung mga batayang tanong tungkol sa kanilang prangkisa?
Mr. Speaker, just to clarify, this bill was filed with no interference or influence from either ABS, from outside sources, private and public interest. The intention basically is for us, Congress, to have an impartial, comprehensive, extensive hearing to enable us to fulfill our constitutional duty to decide whether to approve or reject this franchise. So, hindi namin tinanong po ang ABS kung sino man, kung okay sa kanila to, because I think that is against the Code of Conduct of Public Officials, Mr. Chair.
Well, Mr. Speaker, natanong ko lang po yan kasi kanina po si Speaker Alan, binanggit niya na nagkaroon ng temporary restraining order, hindi naman nilabanan. Voluntary nagsara sila. Baka po dito sa bill natin, Hindi ho sila umattend dahil ayaw nila. O hindi nila nagugustuhan yung 6 months na binibigyan natin silang pagkakataong sumagot. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, baka pwede namang ma-request sa ating honorable sponsor na yung ABS-CBN naman, based on this House bill, magkaroon sila ng affirmative response na yes, they're willing, based on this bill, na pumapayag sila sa batas na to at pumapayag sila doon sa ating proseso ng pagdinig at paglilinaw sa mga issues tungkol sa ABS-CBN.
Mr. Speaker, napakaganda po ng punto ng ating kagalang-galang na representative ng anak kalusugan. I think I cannot answer for ABS or any government entity, but I think the fact that this Congress is willing to give them temporary permit to operate while we are hearing, I think is a positive development. It will enable them to air. It will enable the 11,000 employees to function and work. Again, we did this on our own decision. We were not asked or be influenced by anybody. We're just fulfilling our constitutional mandate that private bills shall originate exclusively in this House.
May I interject, gentlemen? According to Section 7, acceptance and compliance. Acceptance of this franchise shall be given in writing to the Congress within 60 days from the effectivity of this act. Upon given such acceptance, the grantee shall exercise the privileges granted under this act. Non-acceptance shall render the franchise void.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Definitely, once this franchise is approved, they have to either accept and comply. I think, but Mr. Speaker, the question of our honorable Congressman, Mike Defensor, is will they comply or attend the hearings? I cannot answer for them, but I feel this is a positive development, and I think they're compelled to attend.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yun lang naman po yung gusto kong linawin dun sa... Kasi nga po maraming question din, Mr. Speaker. Is this a renewal? Is this a new franchise? And so on and so forth. Pero yun na po iniiwan ko na dun sa magiging puwang na 6 na buwan na pag-usapan yan. Pangalawa, Mr. Speaker, because of the constitutional provision, if I may read Section 11, no franchise certificate or any other form of authorization for the operation of a public utility shall be granted except to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations or associations organized under the laws of the Philippines. At least 60% of whose capital is owned by such citizens. Ang pangalawa kong tanong, Mr. Speaker, marami pong lumalabas na sinasabi ang pagmamay-ari ng ABS-CBN ay pag-aari ng isang US citizen. Nagre-renew po tayo ngayon ng isang prangkisa, magiging batas po to. Nakita na po natin ang ownership structure ng ABS-CBN sa ngayon na tayo po ay hindi nagba-violate ng isang constitutional provision on ownership. Batas na po to, Mr. Speaker, kahit sabihin po natin maghihiring tayo, may batas na po tayong papasukan, Mr. Speaker.
Maganda talaga ang mga punto ng ating kasama because malinaw talaga sa Article 16, Section 11, the ownership and management of mass media shall be limited to the citizens of the Philippines. Napakaraming allegation po na one of the owners is not a Filipino citizen or dual citizen. So these are the things that we have to address in the hearing. Did ABS-CBN violate the Constitution, particularly on foreign ownership? Did ABS-CBN violate election laws by being biased or favoring another or a few candidates? Did ABS-CBN violate labor laws? Napakarami pong nagkaso sa kanila sa husgado, from the lower courts to the higher courts. Ano po ang status? Did ABS-CBN violate tax laws? Maraming nagsasabi that they set up another company to evade payment of taxes. So these are the things that have to be addressed. And I think, yan nga sinasabi na yung punto na ng ating kagalang-galang na Congressman Mike, hindi po ito ma-resolve in 1 hearing, 2 hearing, 3 hearings. Kailangan impartial, extensive. Then, siyempre, kailangan rin natin pasagutin ng ABS. Bakit nyo kailangan pagpatuloy? Bakit kailangan mag-run kayo ng franchise? Dapat sagutin po nila akusasyon and answer the questions rightfully, extensively. So tama po ang mga punto ng ating kagalang-galang na Congressman Mike Defensor. Kaya nga po final natin itong bill na to.
Okay, for the record, Mr. Speaker, tinatanggap natin yung bill na to at sinusulong natin dahil ang presumption natin, sumusunod to sa provision ng Konstitusyon. May mga aligasyon at yun ang mga titingnan natin, Mr. Speaker. So, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the reply of the sponsor. Yung huli na lang po, kasi nakalagay sa... Kasi yung akin po, yung constitutional eh. Ownership, citizenship, at saka po itong pangalawa, ito pong 50 years lang ang deadline ng isang corporation na magkaroon ng prangkisa. Mr. Speaker, kanina ho, informally napag-usapan po natin yan. Gusto ko lang po malaman kasi ang ABS-CBN 1986, di ba po ba? So dapat, pero yung 25 years, dapat 1995. So Mr. Speaker, again, are we violating any constitutional provision to this effect dito po sa pag-aproba natin? Dahil sobra sa 50 years ang prangkisa ng ABS-CBN kung ito po'y aprobahan natin sa darating na panahon.
Mr. Speaker, napakaganda talaga ng mga tanong ni Mike Defensor, Congressman. Precisely, kailangan talaga ng extensive. Can you imagine yung mga constitutional questions ni Mike Defensor? Isa pang congressman pa lang yan. Can you imagine? How many more will raise issues like this? This is precisely the reason why we really have to have extensive hearings conducted, not influenced by outside sources. Because precisely, yung dalawang punto na ni-raise ni Congressman Mike Defensor ay valid. Did ABS violate the Constitution regarding ownership? May malinaw rin, they cannot have a franchise for over 50 years. So ito po mga bagay na kailangan marisolba. And hindi po madadaan to sa ordinaryong hearing, hindi po to madadaan sa ordinaryong position paper. Dahil this is a question of law, particularly the Constitution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know that the Rules Committee would like, because we already have a deadline, pero gusto ko lang sabihin, Mr. Speaker, for the record, alam nyo, first time nangyari ito na Committee of the Whole tayo para ipasa ang isang batas. Sa isang banda ho, maganda, dahil may problema tayong kinakaharap. Pero sa isang banda, ang dami nating problemang dapat talagang harapin. Mr. Speaker, nag-file po ako mismo ng bill. Taasan ng sweldo ng mga doktor at nurses. Dahil ngayon, marami na nag-imbita sa kanilang umalis ng bansa. Dahil nga sa nangyaring epidemya sa buong mundo, yung pandemic sa buong mundo. Meron ng bill, kasama ko po si Congressman Teves, pag-increase ng hazard pay ng mga LGU frontliners at national frontliners. Economic stimulus bills, nandiyan po si Congressman Stella, Kimbo, kasama po sila dyan, marami silang bill na pinapasa para palakasin ang ating ekonomiya. Yung improvement of facilities sa Department of Health, ang dami po natin problema sa ngayon na COVID talaga ang kinakaharap natin. And yet, ang Kongreso, para ma-accommodate itong problemang to, na Committee of the Whole tayo para gawin to. Mr. Speaker, again, I reiterate my point. We have so many priorities. Naipit lang talaga tayo. Yung ginawa ng NTC, mali talaga. At nag-file po ako ng resolution dyan. Hindi dapat nagsinungaling para nagkaroon tayo ng maayos na hearing at hindi tayo natataranta ng ganito. But if and when the priority will become COVID or ABS-CBN, I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, I will attend the hearings on COVID laws and COVID bills that is required by this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, just a few comments. Magaganda talaga ang punto ng ating sinabi ni Congressman Mike. Nakakalungkot man sabihin, COVID bill, trabaho, dagdag sweldo, pero pag nag-hearing kasi ang ABS, yun ang kino-cover ng media. So, yun lang ang nakakalungkot because this Congress is very productive, transparent, relevant, and responsible. Ang nakakalungkot lang kasi, ang dami na nating Zoom hearings, actual hearings, to improve the lives of our people, pero hindi po nakakover. Pero ngayon siguro, itong pinag-uusapan natin ng ABS, sigurado headline. Pero we would like to assure the Filipino people, we will do what is right, we will prioritize what is right, keeping in mind that we have to help our brothers and sisters na naghihirap while attending to this issue of ABS. Salamat po, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, before we continue with our interpellation, I received a text message from the Honorable Arlene Brosas, and she would like me to deliver her last comments on before the technical difficulties. And I would like to make this part of the record as her manifestation. that their concern is on Section 5 of House Bill number 6732, wherein sa Constitution po kasi, Congress lang ang may power to repeal or alter franchises. But if this is regular, okay lang naman daw. And Section 9, better formulation at self-regulation by the undertaking of grantee. The grantee shall not require any previous censorship of any speech, play, act, or scene or any other matter to be broadcast and or telecast from its station. And lastly, and I'm supposing, Mr. Speaker, that she is referring to the Gabriel party list, stand for freedom and democracy, so yes to press freedom. Quote, end quote, Mr. Speaker.
Noted.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate is the Honorable Ferdinand Gaite of Bayan Muna. May I move that he be recognized?
The Honorable Ferdinand Gaite of Bayan Muna is recognized for his interpellation.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker. Pahintulutan ba ng sponsor ang ilang katanungan hinggil sa pinapanukalang House Bill para sa ABS-CBN franchise?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat po. Mr. Speaker, matagal-tagal na rin natin naabangan nito. Hindi not only during this 18th Congress, as I understand, previous Congresses ay final na itong franchise bill for ABS-CBN. And for reasons, ito ay nantala. Tanong ko lang po, ano ho ba ang kami rin po ay nagtutulak na ito ay madidig na ng ating kapulungan kasama ang Committee on Legislative Franchise. Pero ano ho ba yung pinakabuod o pinakalayunin na sa harap nga ngayon na may COVID-19 ay ngayon ay bibigyan natin sa pamamagitan ng panukalang batas na ito ang limitadong franchise para sa ABS-CBN?
Well, maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat kay Congressman Gaite na at least na-mention niya na yung itong prangkisa na to ng ABS, which was already filed in the 16th Congress, if I'm not mistaken, 2014, hindi po na-aksyonan ng previous Congress, na 16th Congress, hindi na-aksyonan ng 17th Congress, at ngayon sa 18th Congress ay wala pa naman tayong 10 buwan. Pero kung isipin mo, siyempre, napakarami na nating napasa na bills like budget, wala namang taal issue ng previous Congresses. Kaya ngayon may COVID at tinatalakay pa rin natin. Ang desisyon talaga, basically as mentioned, do what is right, have an impartial, extensive, comprehensive hearing, not be influenced by anybody, give the congressman the opportunity to hear all sides, whether pro or against, in order for us to fulfill our mandate and talagang makadecide tayo what is right, not based on outside influence and pressure. Yan po ang basic objective lang po nito, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat po, kagalang-galang Mr. Speaker at sa ating sponsor. Natanong ko po yan kasi alam po naman natin na itong usapin ng prangkisa ng ABS-CBN, liban sa mga binanggit na mga opposition ng mga iba't ibang grupo ay hindi lingid sa ating kalaman na mismo ang ating Pangulo ay nagpahayag ng kanyang pagtutol sa renewal ng prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. Kung gayon, bakit ngayon ay biglang tila nagkaroon ng pagbabago sa pagtulak ngayon ng prangkisa? Alam natin, hindi lingid sa kalam ng ating mga kababayan. Ilang ulit sinabi ni Pangulong Duterte na hindi na babalik ang prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. At dapat, kung gusto nila, ibenta na lang nila ang prangkisa nila. Hindi ho ba, paano nyo ba tinignan ang usaping ito sa panahon na ito nga po, importante ang impormasyon, ang sinasabi ng marami ang usapin ng freedom of speech, ang freedom of the press, na daluyan ng impormasyon, lalo na sa panahon ng COVID-19. Ang epekto sa mga 11,000 mga magagawa ng naturang kumpanya. Totoo, may violations, maaari sila ng labor laws, lalo na sa dami ng mga contractuals. Pero nevertheless, trabaho pa rin yan. Hindi pa natin mabilang ang ilan pang mga mamamayan na umaasa rin in one way or another sa industriya na ibinibigay ng ABS-CBN. Paano natin ngayon ibabalanse yung sinasabi ng ating Pangulo na siya'y tumututol, pero on the other hand, nakikita natin kahalagahan din ito, lalo na sa hinaharap ng ating napakabigat na pasanin ng COVID-19, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Mr. Speaker, yung all the statements of the President, we highly respect. Sinabi niya noon ay tutol siya. But we also respect na sinabi ni Press Secretary Harry Roque na he will let Congress decide, and if I'm not mistaken, he will act or sign it once it's forwarded to him first. Secondly, yung issue on the freedom of the press, para sa akin po, ay hindi po pwedeng gamiting issue yan because mas malakas, mas malusog ang karapatan na guaranteeing press freedom ngayon. Lalong-lalo na po may social media naman, nandyan pa naman ang GMA, nandyan pa naman ang TV5, and many more. At higit sa lahat, ang ABS pa po ay napapanood pa natin sa TV Patrol, through YouTube, Facebook. So, hindi naman po totoo na naputol. In fact, this morning, I was interviewed by ABS News Channel Head Start. So, tuloy po ang pag-air nila. Second, yung issue po sa 11,000 employees, valid po yung point na yan. The same way na valid rin po ang mga labor laws violated by ABS, not only involving casual or contractual employees. Kasama rin po may mga permanent employees na violate. So, ito po ay papakinggan natin lahat. But again, this Congress is balanced and fair. Even our Speaker has mentioned several times that when he ran for Vice President, nagkaroon ng bias and unfair treatment. But despite that, the Speaker is pushing for this measure to grant an extension, provisional authority to operate franchise until October so that there will be an impartial, comprehensive hearing. Yan po ang sa aking kasagutan po dyan, Mr. Speaker.
Maraming salamat po, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker. At hindi na ko po patatagalin ang aking mga katanungan. Nasabi na at na-raise na ng iba nating mga kapitapitagang mga kasamahan sa Kongreso na kalakhan ay nasa kanilang mga tahanan, mga opisina. Sa inyo na nandyan mismo sa plenaryo, papasalamat rin kami dahil kayo yung nagsisilbing tinig natin sa panahong ito, sa ating mga kasamahan na manggagawa at kawani mismo ng House of Representatives na masasabi nga natin ay karamihan sa kanila ay nagsasakripisyo ng trabaho at ang kanilang buhay kung nitong COVID-19. Ang bababanggitin namin ay kami ay na-appreciate yung pagbibigay ng pagpagkahalaga rin sa isang napakalaking bahagi na ng ating buhay, ABS-CBN, na liban sa news, entertainment, yung tulong sa serbisyo sa mamamayan, kailangan dinggin na talaga ang prangkisa nito para tulad na nabanggit ng ating mga kasamahan ay karapat-dapat pang mabigyan ng prangkisa ang naturang kumpanya. Maraming salamat sa pagkakataong ito. Maraming salamat sa ating mga kasamahan. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Maraming salamat, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the lady from the 3rd District of Laguna, the Honorable Sol Aragones, for her manifestation.
The
So
lady
moved, Mr.
representative
Speaker.
from the 3rd District of Laguna, Honorable Sol Aragones, is recognized to interpellate the good sponsor, Deputy Speaker El Rey Villafuerte.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to make a manifestation. Nais ko pong magpasalamat kay Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano at sa iba pang authors ng bill na ito kasama ka na DS Rani Abu at DS El Rey. Speaker, maraming salamat po, Speaker Alan, dahil malaking bagay po ito na posibleng magkaroon ng franchise ang ABS-CBN na tatagal hanggang October 31, 2020. Malaking bagay po ito na muling makabalik ang istasyon sa himpapawid at maging kaagapay ng gobyerno sa pagbibigay ng impormasyon sa taong bayan o isa sa maging kaagapay sa pagbibigay ng impormasyon sa ating taong bayan. At malaking bagay din po ito para mabigyan ng pagkakataon na madinig ang iba't ibang panig sa isyong ito. Sa ganang akin po, anumang munang kayang ibigay sa ngayon ay isang bagay na dapat na nating ipagpasalamat. Muli, maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Honorable Solar Aragones. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the next to interpellate is the Honorable Sara Elago of the Kabataan Party List. I move that she be recognized.
Honorable Sarah Jane Ilago from Kabataan Party List is recognized for her interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Marami po sa aking mga katanungan ay nabigyan na ng sagot. Ngunit hayaan niyo po na maitanong ng kabataan ang isa na nangangailangan pa po ng mas iba yung paglilinaw. Will the distinguished sponsor yield to interpellation?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, it would be a privilege.
Mr. Speaker, what were the factors considered in determining the term of franchise, which shall be in effect until October 31? Ano po ang mga napag-usapan doon sa pagdidesisyon na paano po tayo nagkaroon ng ganitong desisyon na hanggang October 31? Mr. Speaker, tinatanong po natin ito upang ang magandang balita ng pagbabalik ere sa pamamagitan na bibigyan ng daan ng provisional franchise na ito ay hindi naman po magiging taning para doon sa mga manggagawa, lahat ng mga artista ng bayan na nakasalalay ang kabuhayan sa network po na ating pinag-uusapan ngayon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Basically, napag-usapan po yan ng kasama namin mga authors, members of the House leaders, na until October 30 po, I think is the right time frame to be able to have an impartial, extensive, comprehensive hearing despite the COVID crisis because as we know, marami rin naman talagang priorities ang ating kailangan na i-discuss. I-mention na yan, yung mga bills na sinabi ni Congressman Mike Defensor, yung mga pagdagdag ng hazard pay sa ating mga frontliner, yung stimulus, yung new normal, balik probinsya, Cures Act. So, we took all of these important priority measures into consideration, and basically, we have to set a deadline among ourselves that by October, we should be able to decide whether to approve or reject this franchise application. So, you might ask, why not 9 months, 3 months? I think at this point, we did what is right. We think that, we feel that October is the right timing. So that's why we filed that time frame, Mr. Speaker.
Ginoong Speaker, nakikiisa po tayo sa layunin ng sponsor na bigyan ng prioridad ang mga patakaran na tutugon sa pangangailangan sa kalusugan at kabuhayan ng ating mga kababayan sa gitna ng COVID-19 pandemic. Ngunit bigyan din po nating halaga ang balita at impormasyon na sang-ayon po mismo sa World Health Organization, hindi lang po pandemic ang ating kalaban sa panahong ito, kundi ang natagurian nilang infodemic o yung pagkalat po ng laganap ng mga peking balita at disinformation na malaking hadlang sa pagsagip ng buhay sa pamamagitan ng balita at impormasyon. Kaya naman, Ginoong Speaker, kasabay po ng pagtitiyak natin na may mass testing, may contact tracing, may isolation bilang support strategy at backbone po ng COVID-19 pandemic response. Gayon din sa pinag-uusapan na nating mga recovery plan, ang kinakailangan po ay tiyakin ng ating pamahalaan na napoprotektahan ang flow ng tama na information at napoprotektahan po natin ang kalayaan sa pamamahayag at ang kalayaan sa pagpapahayag ng ating mga kababayan. Ngayon, higit kailanman, Ginoong Speaker, kinakailangan po na sa paglaban sa COVID-19, nandyan ang ating pagkakaisa na nakabatay sa karapatang pantao at paggalang po sa boses ng mamamayang Pilipino. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Speaker.
Maraming salamat. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other members who wishes to interpolate on the good sponsor, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Any objection? The chair is none. The period of sponsorship and debate is closed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of committee amendments.
Any objection? The chair is none. The period of committee amendments is open.
Mr. Speaker, there being no committee amendments, I move that we close the committee amendments.
Any objection? The chair is none. The period of committee amendments is closed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of individual amendments.
The period of individual amendments is open.
Mr. Speaker, to
Majority
introduce an individual amendment, I move that we recognize the Honorable Argel Kabatbat of Magsasaka Party List to introduce amendments. So
The
move.
Honorable Representative from Magsasaka Party List, Honorable Kabatbat, is recognized for his individual amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Sponsor, I would like to propose the following amendments, particularly on Section 14. I propose that we delete the word annual and change April 30 of the calendar year to July 30 of 2020, so that Section 14 will be read as, the grantee shall submit a report to the Congress of the Philippines through the Committee on Legislative Franchises of the House of Representatives and the Committee on Public Services of the Senate on its compliance with the terms and conditions of the franchise and on its operations on or before July 30, 2020. The reportorial compliance certificate issued by Congress shall be required before any application for permit or certificate is accepted by NTC.
What is the pleasure of the sponsor?
I accept, Mr. Speaker.
What's the pleasure of the majority?
Mr. Speaker, we join in the majority.
Any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Amendment is approved.
Thank you,
Majority
Mr. Speaker. Last proposed
You may
amendment.
proceed.
Thank you. I propose that we delete 15 days and replace it with Section 17. I propose that we delete 15 days after and be replaced by immediately, so that Section 17 will be read as, this act shall take effect immediately after its publication in the official gazette or in a newspaper of general circulation.
What is the pleasure of the sponsor?
I accept the amendment, Mr.
What's the
Speaker.
pleasure of the majority?
We join, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The chair is none. The amendment is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other members who wishes to introduce amendments, I move that we close the period of individual amendments.
Any objection? The chair is none. The period of individual amendments is closed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 6732 as amended. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Those are in favor to approve on second reading House Bill 6732, please say aye. Those who are against, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 6732 is approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we include the Honorable Raul Delmar's manifestation, which he has submitted earlier in the Committee on Rules, as part of the record of today's session. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Any objection? The manifestation of Honorable Delmar is adopted to be included in the journal of the session. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I also move that the Honorable Edgar Sarmiento be made as additional co-author of House Bill number 6732.
Any objection? The chair is none. Motion approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, likewise, the Honorable Yul Sarvonieto would like to be included as co-author of House Bill number 6732.
Any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we include additional co-authors to House Bill number 6623 and 6732 as contained in the list to be submitted by the Committee on Rules later on. So
Any
moved.
objection? The chair is none. Additional authors for House Bill 6732
And 6623, Mr. Speaker.
and 623 upon submission of the list of the Secretariat will be considered as co-authors of both House bills.
Mr. Speaker, I move to
Leader.
suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended.
Sige, sige.
Sessions resume. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we include the manifestation, written manifestation of the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Baby Arenas, which she earlier submitted before the Committee of Rules, as part of the record of today's session.
Any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I also move that the copies of the House Bill 6732 be, the third reading copies, be distributed to the members via electronic mail and distribution of actual and physical copy to the offices of the members.
Directing the Secretariat to give the copies of House Bill 6732 through email and to their offices
And through other electronic means, Mr. Speaker.
and other electronic means.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that we adjourn session until Monday,
May 18.
May 18 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Session is adjourned until 18 of May at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Sarate. Besides, bukas to eh.